Good evening, good evening, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Faith Talks. Welcome back to Faith Talks. We've been gone for a minute. Listen, several things has changed. The boy is married now. Okay, listen here. So that is why we had to take a break because I had to get used to being married. All right, and all that good stuff. But I have some good men with me tonight, and I'm super excited to have this conversation with these two amazing men. Both of them were best men in my wedding. They are my brothers. They are my ride or die. And so we're just gonna have a conversation. Ladies, you can eavesdrop in on this conversation. But truly, we talking about a man's faith journey and what that looked like for us as individuals and collectively as brothers, how we commune with each other, how we connect and talk to each other. So I'm just super excited for tonight. Make sure you share on Instagram with somebody, let somebody know that for life that we are live tonight with Faith Talks. And I'm super excited. Elvis couldn't be here tonight, but I know he's watching. So, brother, I love you too, man. He also was in my wedding as well. So, yeah, so shout out to Elvis. But let's get into the conversation tonight. Desi Dez, the one and the only, my best friend who I've known for a long time. Just introduce yourself and tell people about you a little bit.
So how y'all doing? Again, I am Desmond, more known as Des. Me and Walt met a long time ago.
Long time.
But we'll probably talk about it. Granted, I am in IT. I work out, body build. I got my own business, Toughed It For You. Y'all go look out for that. And
What is that? What is Toughed It For You?
So Toughed It For You is a business that I created. I want to believe 2022, where I make custom rugs for people that have a business, to have their personal, want their personal face done, things like that. So I make a custom rugs doing that, and I also body build. So I do work people or train people. So if you want to get trained, let me know.
I have two trainers on here tonight.
We can lock in.
Yeah.
Tomorrow we in the building.
Yes, sir. So that's Desmond, my best friend, and this guy right here, my brother Trey. Come on, introduce yourself. Trey's been on already, but reintroduce yourself.
All right, how y'all doing tonight? Good evening. My name is Trey, other known as Trey the Trainer and Physio Cinco. You can see at the bottom.
Truly.
Personal trainer, rehab specialist here. Well, most of the time I occupy my time by school and training at the gym and training outside of the gym. But yeah, that's pretty much about me.
Yeah. So what I didn't realize? We have three business owners too here on tonight, and I think that is so dope to show that we as African American men, and I'm not making this an African American thing, but however, as three African American men, business owners, one as a father, educated. I mean, I didn't think all that through until we just said it. Like, we got three business owners. I started my business in 2021. You started yours in 2022. You started yours in what year? 2021. So literally all at the same time. So we're all coming on 3 or 4 years of being business owners, and it is hard being a business owner. But we are a testament that if you stick with it, stay true to it, it will profit. You know what I'm saying? It will come through. So yeah. So these my brothers, y'all. These my brothers, y'all. And so we're gonna jump into this conversation tonight. So I want to talk about a man's journey through faith, and the reason why I want to talk about it is because I think a lot of times we as men don't see ourselves in faith. And when I say that, I'm not talking about in the Bible. Clearly, you got Jesus, John, Matthew, Mark, Luke, Paul. I mean, the list goes on and on of men in faith. But in person, in today's time, I think sometimes it's easier for women to see themselves in the faith, but it's harder for men to see themselves in the faith. And so I wanted to talk about your own journey in the faith, and I'll talk about mine as well, just to get a better understanding for men who might be, I want to become strong in the faith, I want to truly live this thing, but I've never seen it quite done. And so my first question that I want to present to you guys is, when were you introduced to God, and when did Jesus become real to you? So it's a two-part question. So when were you introduced to God, and when did Jesus become real to you? Grab your mic. Praise God.
I believe as African American people, we are all grown up in the church. So I do believe that we've all been introduced to the Most High. We're young. I want to say when you first thought about church, you was in church. But I believe that I physically had a love for the Most High when I was in college. During that time, I don't want to use the word in the streets, because I don't want to use that, but I was out I was out there, you know.
Yeah.
Amen. So I was out there, but you meet people all around the world, and I met this particular woman. I'm not gonna say her name, but she was a person that really made me aware who the Most High is by reading the Bible. You know, start doing the Sabbath, start really praying, and my circle started to change. So once that happened, I found the love for myself. You know, I believe it was very hard because the Most High made everybody leader in my circle. So I was alone, and I had to find who I really wanted to love and who really wanted to love me for me. Because once you get to know the Most High, you're a new person. You're not the same person. You're somebody different. Maybe your old friends not going to recognize you, but your new friends will.
That's good.
So Walter was with me the whole step of the way. I'm gonna tell you right now, it was times where I wouldn't even hit him up. Not because I didn't love Walt or he wasn't my friend, because I knew what I was doing at that time was not of God, and I knew for a fact he wouldn't accept it. Furthermore, I didn't want to hear what he had to say. Because I was out there, you know.
I think it was more of the latter part than any of the others.
But I was truly enjoying myself. And then when some things happened, for instance, I got away from the Most High, and at this time I got to know him in college, and I wanted to go to a party. At this time I just cut off my locks, and my ex was like, "You should stay home," and I was like, "No, I'm gonna go to this party." Walking to the car, the Most High said, "You know, go back into the house because, you know, I don't know what can happen. Go back into the house." So I got in the car. We go to the party, and we get put over by the police. At this time, I had just cut off my locks. On my ID, driver's license, I had my old pictures. So if the police officers pull us over, he's going to say, "Hey, who is this person?" You know what I'm saying?
Because you look night and day compared to when you had locks.
So we're driving to the party. I had my friend at this time. I'm not going to say his name. He was moving. He was moving stuff. So he's moving stuff. We driving. You get put over. The police officer said, "Where y'all going?" I said, "We're going to a party." You know what I mean? I'm a truthful. I ain't trying to go to jail at all.
Pull your mic up.
So I said, "We going to the party." So as the police officer is running the plates, I asked my friend. I said, "Hey, just a question. No, how much do you have in the car?" He said, "About a bag full." I looked at him. And I couldn't say nothing at the time because.
So how about when you said you were moving? I didn't catch it.
I didn't want to
just caught it.
I
okay.
Didn't want to, you know. So,
yeah.
So at this time he was moving marijuana, you know. So I knew for a fact I shouldn't have been with him, but you know, you got friends in college, you really just with the flow. So at the time, the police officer stopped us over. He pulled us over, and he's saying, "You know, where y'all going?" I said, "We're going to a party." So my friend had a tail light out, right? So to paint the picture. He had papers on the floor. He had a bottle open, and we was in the back. So he pulled us over. He says, "I need your registration." And my friend is like, he's in the glove compartment just looking. So I'm getting upset because I know what's in the trunk. We're about to graduate, and I'm thinking to myself, if he pops the trunk, I'm going to run. So he goes back to the car. He was back there for about 5 minutes, but it felt like 30.
Yeah.
And he came back. He said, "You know what? Y'all go to the party. Enjoy yourself." I said, "Thank you." We got in the car. I told him, "Let's go to this party. And this will be the last time I'm in the car with you." We never spoke again. So things like that made me know that the Most High is real. And I love them. Not ever since then, but he showed me that if you trust in him, he won't let you. He won't stay you astray.
Yeah. And before I let Trey go, what I love that you said is just so true. Once you commit yourself to God and once you agree that He's your Lord and Savior, people are going to leave. Like the first portion of submitting yourself to Christ is that season of being alone. And the way that I try to portray it, it's so when you become one with Christ, you're reborn, right? Who's in the womb with you when you're before your birth? No one. Yeah. So that is a part of the rebirth, is that isolation period. Just like when you are in your mother's womb before you get here, you're there by yourself. Right. And that's when you get to learn your mother's voice. That's when you get to learn your mother's heartbeat. That's when you get that connection between your mother. And it's the same with Jesus Christ. Once you submit yourself with him, he has to isolate you, because then that's when you learn his heart. That's when you learn his rhythm. That's when you learn his voice, so that when he births you into whatever you're supposed to do, you'll always recognize it. And I think sometimes people, they tend to, in that isolation period, you run away from God, when really that's your time to run to him. Because for real, when you in the womb, he's your everything. He's your everything afterwards, but he's for real, your everything. That's all you got. You know what I'm saying? Because people will turn away when they realize, oh, you're different. And I hate when people say, oh, no, I'm not different as you. No, I am different. Yeah. And I'm glad that you recognize it, because that means that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. So, yeah. So, same question for you. When did you uh really get to know who God is and affirm that thing with Jesus Christ, where he became real to you?
I can honestly say that around a little bit this time last year, when I really started to let God into my life and started to go into church and really just feeling the spirit. And I knew it was like a difference between because like Desmond said, we all grew up in the church, like understanding what God was and stuff like that. But like when I got my own understanding last year, it just hit different when I was inside the church. And I really understood what the pastor was saying, and it just hit my heart, it hit my soul. And what was your second question again?
Like, when did Jesus become real to you?
Okay, so Jesus became real to me because I had an addiction. I had a smoking addiction, and I always tried to stop on my own. So every time I tried to stop my own, couldn't stop. I'd be like, I'm going to stop smoking, couldn't stop. Mm-hmm. So I was literally, and it was earlier this year in April, I just came from your service about 2 days before that, a week before that. And your service, your message was so strong, man, that I just felt like I can let God into my life and let him take control. So a week after that, I went to a camp where we was counseling kids and stuff like that. And we was inside like a chapel situation. We had a service. And just people coming up to the stage giving testimonies. And just the spirit that I felt and the kids around me, how they looked up to me, I just really cried out and asked the God that day, like, please help me with this. Because I felt like everything else wasn't working. So once I did that, it's like, it instantly just like the taste for smoking, just the thought of it just all went away. So yeah, I can just honestly say that was the time right there.
Love that. And what I love is that even though your stories are similar, God spoke to y'all in different ways. But you knew it was him, because he'll always come to you where you are. Right? Like for me, so I've been saved a long time. Like long time. So I got saved at 8 years old, right? So I'll never forget. I'll say I was at Ebenezer. It was some Bible study. Pastor Joanne was teaching the Bible study, and she did an altar call, and I just knew. I was just like, I'm going. Like what she offered, it was during Christmas time. So Christmas means so much to me for more than one reason. Number one, I just love it. And then number two, that's when I got saved. It was during Christmas. I think it was like December 8th or 9th. Like I remember like to the T. And so she said it's the best decision that you could ever make, in your life. Why would what she said, why would God give his best gift and you reject it? And that thing hit me. Like, why would I reject the best gift ever? And so I gave my life to Christ. But I would say that Jesus truly became real. Still, I was a child, like 9 or 10. Jesus became my best friend. Like before I met this guy, who was literally my first like human best friend. My first best friend was Jesus Christ. Like I went to him for everything because I always felt different. Always felt like I didn't fit in. Always felt like, people didn't understand. They didn't understand me because my frequency was just different. I was just on a completely different channel. And so as a kid, I couldn't understand it. So I drew closer to him because I'm like, all right, you got to make this make sense. Now I know it was a calling on my life that God had for me. But as a kid, you don't understand that. So it was in those moments of my childhood and understanding that I'm different, I ran to him. And running to him, that's where that strong connection is. And now you can't tell me nothing about anything else because Jesus is it. Like, and that's why my conviction is so strong.
I also got like another 2 stories to bring up. So one of them was about 2021. Before all this training stuff started, I was in college playing football, and COVID had happened, and it was just a lot going on with trying to maintain football and school and stuff like that. So everything started to plummet. I stopped going to school and stopped playing football, and I was just real in the dark place of myself. And like I said, at that time, I knew God was real. I knew God was in my life, but I didn't have the faith that I have right now. So I'm in the car depressed. I think at the time I had a situation, had an ex at the time. We had just got into it. She just got out of the car, cussed me out, this, that, and the third. And I was real depressed off just like where my life was going. So I literally was crying. And I asked God, I said, what do you want me to do with myself? Because I really don't know. Only thing I know is what I've been doing my whole life, which was football. So that moment right there, I got a phone call from a job that I applied to. That I forgot I applied to the job probably like 2 weeks before that. And it was for a physical therapy technician position. So when they called me, like when I mean my eyes is full with tears, already from crying, but like just with tears of joy this time. Because as soon as I called out to God, like literally 2 seconds, they called me and was like, "I want to interview." And I had to do a drug test, and that time I was not doing the right things. And God bless me for passing the drug test. Fire. And the second time was earlier this year in January, where I had like a kind of a depression of like what my business was heading towards. And I just had like a stale moment because things was on the rise at one point, then it started to like kind of trickle down. So I'm sitting in my bed, I'm literally looking up in the sky in my room, and I'm like looking up at the ceiling, and I'm just like, God, like, what do you want me to do? Like, I know that things are supposed to be like hard at times, but like I'm really lost right now. I'm lost like I was in 2021. And when I mean, Walter, I heard a voice talk to me, and I only told this to a select amount of people. But God basically told me that I gave you a gift and you need to pursue your gift, which is helping people. He said, if you pursue your gift, I will give you everything you need to pursue that gift, but you got to stop doing some things that you're doing. So when I mean I was crying, boo-hooing, and then instantly all the tears just stopped. Like I literally just like stopped coming to my eyes. I looked down at my pillow. My pillow had tears on the pillow, but it was like in the mark of a cross. I got a picture of it and everything, but that right there just like a rude awakening for like I really got to stop what I'm doing and really trust in God. And then like I got baptized in April this year, and then yeah, man, just it's been a lot of the last year literally. But those 3 encounters alone just set me apart to know that like God is real and God is with me, and I really got to trust him and have faith in him in everything that I do. So that's amazing. And what I love about this conversation is that God spoke to us in his own way. Sometimes it's an audible voice, sometimes it's by way of persons, sometimes it's by way of just an experience, but he's speaking all the time. And as men, sometimes we don't allow that part of us to open up. You know what I'm saying? As men, sometimes we matter of fact. No, it's this or it's that. No, sometimes God will come in literally and speak to you. But because you think that, oh no, I'm going crazy, or no, there's something else. No. You know when it's him. Like it's a very definite sound. It's a feeling. Most of the time it comes from the gut. Like you know when it's him. And I think that it's really important for us to have our ear to his voice. I mean, there's no way you can truly connect to him if you don't have an ear to him. The Bible declares, the Bible says, those that have an ear, let him hear. So in order to hear him, your ear has to be in the posture to receive him. So what I love about all of our situations is God brought us to a situation where we were desperate to hear him. And sometimes he has to bring us to our knees in order for us to truly hear him. He's always coming around when you're at your most vulnerable state.
Always.
That's the crazy part. All 3 of them stores I just named, I was crying out. He literally came right there when I was crying out, asking him directly. And it's amazing.
He don't want you shallow. You think about any relationship that you've been in, do you want anybody shallow? No. Because all of us have depths. So if you come to me shallow, I'm not going to pour into you because I feel like you can't handle my deepness. And it's the same with God. I got all this to give to you, but until you get to a point where you really, really, really want what I have, you're going to miss me. And so, I can talk about that.
Desmond, I'm glad that you used that situation that you went through with your buddy in the car to realize that God is with you, man, and like just changing your lifestyle from there, bro. Like,
Yeah.
'cause a lot of times people just think like, oh, I got lucky, I got out of that, and I'm
Right.
good. You know, I get away with everything, and I ain't never gonna get caught. But like, you seen it a whole different way that like that God was really walking with you and helping you out through the situation because He wanted something more for you. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that you overseen that, man.
For sure. Yeah.
Listen, let me tell you something. Everybody want to be tough
Yeah.
until them lights hit you.
Okay. For real.
Everybody want me. When some lights hit you, it's different. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So if you about to graduate school and the police come up behind you, I don't care what degree you getting, you get a
It
felony.
don't matter.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I ain't playing.
And then also, not only did you recognize it, but you moved differently. Because it's one thing to see God and you're like, all right, but then you keep doing it. God's grace runs out. And people don't want to talk about it. Yeah, God graces us, but it runs out. He's not gonna be stupid and just keep gracing you to do the same thing to get back into the same situation. So sometimes his grace leaves up off you. And then you find yourself just in this circle where you're doing the same thing over and over again. And it's not until you get to that vulnerable space that you just talked about where God can say, hello, this is what you need to do. Then you like, all right, I'm tired. Now I'm gonna do something different. And I feel this right here. Somebody's tired. Like you're tired of being in the same situation. You find yourself dealing with the same type of woman. You find yourself dealing with the same type of man, y'all ladies. You find yourself dealing with the same situation. It comes in different forms though. You like, man, I thought I got over this, or I thought I dealt with this. But here it is again. It's because you have not become vulnerable to him, and you're not at a place where you recognize this is God trying to get my attention, and now I need to move the way he wants me to. And so, yeah, I feel that. So I don't know who that's for, but you better catch it, grab it, and use it. All right. All right. So my second question is, as a man, what do you struggle with when it comes to completely following Jesus? What comes in the way of you truly following what he's asking you to do?
Wow. I feel like what comes in the way is just like me being confident and trusting in him and like letting him take the wheel, because like I said earlier, when I tried to stop my addiction by myself, it didn't work. So like I'm gonna give a story. When I got this job at the gym, I really was so nervous and I didn't know how I was going to end up, because I really wanted this job. And like out of all the jobs I applied to, this was the only one that hit me back out of like 7 jobs. So right before I went inside, like I said, I was nervous, sweating, but I don't know why I was. That was just my flesh talking to me. I literally asked myself, well, I didn't ask myself. I asked God. I said, God, whatever happens ahead, just give me the strength and the faith to just go ahead and do your work. If it's not for me, it's not for me. But you know what's best for me. So just do what you got to do.
Yeah.
I went in there and I killed it, man. So like, just letting my confidence be in the way, because I always felt like I was a person that was confident, but I feel like I was an overthinker. So like giving them thoughts and that confidence to the Lord, it really like it helps you a whole lot. Like, on this podcast, sometimes you don't know what you're gonna say or how you're gonna respond or how things are gonna go or how people are going to respond back to you. But at the end of the day, when you leave it in God's hands, it's all gonna work out because He knows best.
Yeah, for sure.
You got great questions, Walt.
Oh, thank you.
Let's start there. But seriously, I would say commitment. It's easy to say that, hey, I want to follow the Most High, or hey, I want to get this job, because sometimes He'll bless you. I know for me, He blessed me with so many things. This year has been crazy, and that's because just the dedication that I had and the commitment that I put in for it.
That's right.
I asked for things, but I put in work to get these things. For a long time, I was frugal with money, not because I didn't have it. It's just because now.
Long time. Praise God.
Praise God.
Okay.
No, He didn't.
Yeah, yes, I did. Yeah.
No, but seriously though, so commitment. The reason why I say commitment, because the Most High will give you things, and if you're not ready for it, you'll feel like you're overwhelmed.
Yeah.
So before you ask for something, make sure that you're committed to it, and make sure that you're willing to receive it. For me, I asked to be in IT for a long time, and I was studying, and I felt like I wasn't grasping the information of cybersecurity. And now that I have the ability to be in a circle with people that's doing cybersecurity, I feel overwhelmed only because that I took the foot off the pedal. So this past year, I put it back on the pattern. I feel like things are just clicking. So I would say commitment and also comparison. I feel like for me, I compare myself to people or people that's doing better than me. Um, Granted, I like achieving things. So me comparing myself to this person has ceased. But in the past, that was something that I was dealing with. I know for a fact we all want a house, want the best car, want that dream type of lifestyle. And if you keep looking on social media, that's all you're going to see. And eventually, what's going to happen is you're going to think you're not doing enough. But I'm going to tell you right now, even speaking to myself, you're fine.
Yeah.
Despite what you think, you're fine.
Yes, sir.
And if you don't think you're fine, do this. Sit down, write down things that you want, and write down how can you get it done. And I guarantee you, if you write those things down and how you can get it done, I say 4 to 5 months, you can check off things that you have accomplished. So, yeah, a little insight about my
man. That is so good.
yeah,
And I'm proud of you for being honest, because I knew the answer to this questions. But
no, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Oh,
no, you didn't.
Yes. Let me tell you how I know. So one thing about me is when I am connected to you, I'm connected to you. And so even though I might not vocalize things, God shows me things so that I can be used on how to support you, right? How to support you as a brother, how to support you as a friend, and how to just be there for you and how to pray, on your behalf. And so when I say I knew the answers to these questions, I knew what you were wrestling with, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? I might not have known exact details, but I knew what the wrestle was. And so for me, when I was, a lot earlier in my journey, it was definitely confidence. I looked confident, but I wasn't. I appeared as confident, but I wasn't. And I preached this several months ago where I got my confidence from watching this guy. Desmond was so confident at 12 and 13. I was like, how does he possess this confidence? Any room he went in, he owned it. And for me, I was like, yo, I do not feel that way. Yes, people will come to me and ask of me to do stuff for them or whatever the case may be, but I did not feel confident. Like I did not. And so being connected. Yeah.
I don't believe it.
Yes, yo.
I don't believe it.
I'm telling you, because you don't see what other people see. We are sometimes our worst critics. Yeah. We see our insecurities, we see the things that we want to obtain that we have not yet obtained. Sometimes we forget our gifts and we forget our talents. Then you have some people that think too much about themselves. But for most of us, we see what's wrong with us and not what's right with us. And I know that was my thing. I always felt like I wasn't doing something right, or I needed to do this more, or I needed to be better at this, or God, I didn't pray 3 times a day. Like I used to be really bad on myself. And that was my struggle of truly walking with him, is I tried to be in too much control of the things that I feel like I should be doing instead of letting him lead and guide me. And then that boosted my confidence is knowing that he got me. He got me. You know what I'm saying? So exactly what you said. And so knowing that he has me, he not going to put me nowhere where I'm going to fail. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to set me up as long as I'm under him. Now, if I go outside of him, that's on me. But if I'm following him and doing what he's asking me to do and what he's telling me to do, I literally can't fail. Like literally, because he can. And so yeah, so I truly got my confidence from watching you. Like truly, I know it's hard to believe, but as I can still remember the first time I saw you, and I was like, man, this guy is different. And I knew I wanted to connect with you. And even that was out of my comfort zone. And so that was a real test. God was like, okay, so I brought this confident guy right here. Now what you gonna do? I don't know, Lord, but I stepped out there, and now look at us all these years later, still connected, still close, and things of that nature. And then with you, the confidence of I saw what you were trying to do with your business, or what you were doing with your business, and it inspired me, and I wanted to support you. And so what did I do? I reached out to you. Confidence. You know what I'm saying? I did not have that. And so now that I have that, that is why we're brothers. because of that confidence. And so it's just amazing what you struggle with will truly be your greatest asset. Now I'm the most confident person I know. You sit me in front of anyone at any given time, and I'm not worried. I'm not worried. And so, like Desmond said, you will be fine. Whatever your struggle is, I love struggles. And I love struggles because it truly perfects the craft of whatever you're called to do. And also the struggle also keeps you humble because you know without God, I'm going to crumble at any given moment. And so I think about like the thorn on my side. You're always going to have something that you're not going to 100% get right. And that's God's way to keep you in check, to keep you aligned, and to keep you humble and under submission of him. So yeah. Yeah. Oh man, this is great. I hope y'all taking some notes.
Confidence.
Confidence and trust.
Give it to the Lord.
That's
Have faith in him.
That's it. So my third question, I've been waiting to get to this one right here. So is submission hard for you? Is submission hard for you? And I'm gonna explain why I asked that question after you answer it.
Could you elaborate a little bit?
Yeah. So submitting meaning submitting under authority to someone else, you not being in control. So is being in the posture of submission hard for you? Being under the authority of someone else.
Is submission I'm gonna answer, of course, no. Well, not of course no, but I'm gonna say no. Just to piggyback on the confidence thing, I had to submit to somebody to gain that confidence.
Mm-hmm.
You know, getting confidence is not something you just wake up, oh, I'm confident. No. I had to, submit to somebody to gain that confidence. Now, submitting to the Most High, I believe that when I first started, that was very hard.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was required to let go of things and people that I really didn't want to do.
Yeah.
And I promise you I didn't want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But as time went on, those people did not fit in my life anymore. So they were kind of like forced out.
Mm-hmm.
So commitment, I mean, we can sit here and say it's hard, but in actuality, if you really follow the Most High, those people that you think you're committed to will leave. And you'll only be committed to the Most High. So that was something that came with peace. Once peace was over me, I knew like I was in the right direction. And I loved it every step of the way. I loved it. So that's what I was saying.
Yeah. So is submission difficult for you, where you have to relinquish control to someone else and submit underneath them? And I'm explain why after you.
Yeah.
Answer.
I feel like in a sense of when you know what you're doing and you're like you feel comfortable with what you're doing. Yeah, because sometimes I tend to think that I know it all. Mm-hmm. But like in a sense of like learning something new, I feel like I'm pretty submissive, but I'm at an even balance of letting my pride go right now, because when you let your pride go, whether it's like an older person or a younger person, it really helps you open your eyes up, open your ears up and your heart and learn things that you never thought you would know. Yeah, it was really a problem with me growing up, especially when I always felt like I was the best at a lot of things and very competitive. So like just putting that aside and just putting my pride aside, like I said, submission has become very easy and I learned so much from it. Like I said, it's just, it's still a battle a little bit, but we getting it.
Yeah. So the reason why I asked it, 99% of people why they won't follow Jesus Christ is submission. It's not my will, but thy will be done, right? It's letting go of my own desires, my own ambitions, and submitting into whatever it is that you want for me to do. Men have a hard time with submission. That's why our generation, we don't get married. Hold on, listen. I'm not saying Desmond.
I know.
I'm just saying.
It's just. But go ahead.
Yeah. We could talk about it. Yeah. But we as men sometimes it's hard for us to submit. Why? Because we feel like, oh, I'm the man, the wife submits to me, the children under her. Yes, that's the hierarchy of God, but let me tell you something, certain situations you have to submit. And so I'm going to use my own life as an example. I learned very early that submitting to God is the right way. However, when you have to submit to man, it's a completely different story, right? Because God, I understand you have all power, you have all control, you have all knowledge. I'm gonna trust you regardless. But when you tell me I gotta submit to a human being, that sometimes is a struggle for me, especially when I see things of that human being that don't agree with me. It could be flaws, or it could be how you treat people, or whatever the case may be. So I had to learn at a very young age, which is why God has put me under so many different people at different points of my life, how important it is to submit. Then I got married.
Different. Submit.
Submission. Do you hear me? And it's not in a bad way, but when you're used to being single, and now you have a wife or a husband, praise God.
Amen.
You have to change your way of thinking. So certain things that I would do when I was by myself, now I have to think, okay, is she gonna like that?
Mm-hmm.
Or is this gonna make her feel apart? Or is this gonna make her feel like she don't have no voice? You know, and so now conversations have to be held before I do anything, or before we go anywhere, or if we're thinking about something or whatever the case may be. And so that's what I mean when I ask, is submission hard for you? Because if you can't submit, I'm gonna look to y'all because they submit, but if you can't submit, there's no way you can follow anyone. Submission is humbleness. It's not that you have lost yourself. And I think that we, in this culture that we live in, we fail to understand what submission really is. It's not that you lost your identity. It's sometimes you have to follow. I am a natural born leader, and I know that. But there are times where Caprice got to take the lead. Either it's because I am ignorant in that thing, or I don't have the expertise that you have. You're stronger at this than me. I'm the man, but it don't matter. You're stronger at this, and so I'm gonna follow your lead. It's just like my boss. There's some things that she's really good at, some things that she ain't, but it don't matter because God has put you in authority. I'm going to submit because that's the hierarchy of this job. And so once you understand that submission is really a posture of humbleness, then you're able to truly follow. And no leader is great if they can't follow. And so that's why I asked that question, because typically men, it's hard for us to submit, especially when you're told this is a man's world. And let me tell you, all that, it might be a man's world, but every man submits to some woman, whether it's your mama, your sister, your auntie, your wife. You're going to submit to somebody. Grandma, you know what I'm saying? And so I just want to encourage the brothers and females, y'all too. Hold up. You got to submit to your husband. Like your husband is your husband is your husband. Like Adam was the body that the rib, which was Eve, was taken from. So she has to submit. And just as she has to submit, Adam has to submit to her because that's a part of him. And so it's a dual thing. And I think sometimes we see it one-sided. The women submit. No, we submit as well. And it's really important for us to see that submission really makes you macho, not the other way around. When you can submit, be like, yeah, go ahead, baby. And you sit back, that's boss. Then, nah, we ain't doing that. Nah, because, this is where I want it done. No, that is so arrogant. That's very arrogant.
In any type of situation, how do you think you're looking in that situation? Like when you're telling someone, nah, I know it all. Nah, this is how it's going to go. Like, you got to learn how to compromise, whether it's with a relationship, whether it's with a coworker, whether it's with a friend, And like I said earlier, you really open your eyes up and you're not just listening with your mouth. Yeah. You're listening with your ears. Yeah. And when you listen with your ears, things really start to sit in. And you really can take it with you somewhere else instead of leaving it right there at that situation. Yeah. So submission is really big.
It is.
Like we all struggle with that at one point of our
life.
At
one point, yeah. Because like for me, I'ma say something.
And me, I'm not.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm gonna tell you why, because
yes.
I'm a very quiet. I hate to say dominant. I hate to say that word. I'm a very quiet, dominant person.
Yes, 100%.
So I don't speak unless I need to. But at the same, who got it?
Oh yeah, it does that.
But no, seriously,
it's like nah, Diz.
no, seriously. So on a seriousness, I'm a very quiet, dominant person. So when
your quiet is so loud,
it is. But
yeah,
when I could take a back seat, I'm gonna take the back seat. I have no problem doing it. If you want to lead, hey, go ahead, lead, and I'll just watch. You need a question, I answer it for you. But that's just who I am, and I'm not the type of person like I gotta be in control of everything.
Mm-hmm.
No, because it takes a team.
Yeah.
So I mean, if people don't want to follow you, then your leadership is not needed.
Yeah. And for me, like I learned through my business, through my positions at work, and through being married to Caprice, and even dating Caprice, I was one. It has to make sense to me, so I'm going to ask questions.
Yeah,
and sometimes my questions come across as, "Dang, hold up, but let me." And I had to learn that about myself. It wasn't that I think that I know or I think that I have a better solution. It's not making sense to me. So I'm going to keep asking the question. I'm going to keep presenting it this way. I'm going to keep, providing a different perspective until it's clear to me. But then I realized that was controlling.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. But it was from watching mainly Caprice, her response when I did it. And I'm just like, hold up. Even though I'm not saying this is my way, this is how we're going to do it, but me not allowing her to elaborate in her own way and me just listening before I respond, you know what I'm saying, showed me that, oh my God, that was not being submissive.
But that's what I love about Caprice and how she can handle that towards you. Because I think it was
go ahead, talk about it.
You see how I'm thinking? You gotta watch your mouth.
And you see me? Go ahead.
You gotta watch your.
That was a perfect example.
No, because she handles it in a way. Because I think I got on you one time.
He did.
I about to take his head off.
He did.
But Caprice, she does it in a way where it's so comforting.
It is.
And that's the type of woman that I believe every man wants.
Yeah.
So one day we was after you just got done preaching, did an amazing job like you always do. And we was outside talking about the cruise that we're going on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going. Praise the Lord.
God.
So we talk about the cruise we're going. We were talking about the arrangements of how we're getting down there and where we're staying. Now, it was 6 or 7 of us. We're going there, and it was a couple of options that we had. One was maybe take a flight. I'm gonna say the range was $800. The other was take a flight to Texas and drive to New Orleans, and the other one was to some other thing. And I think Walter had a hard time understanding what was going on, so he was, questioning.
Yeah.
Me, I'm gonna take it in. I'm gonna just go to Caprice and okay. And I don't like that. But she said something that she was like, "Yeah, what we can do is we can go to Texas and take an 8-hour trip to New Orleans." Now,
driving.
I'm quiet. Yeah, driving. Now I'm quiet. I said, I'm not doing that. Walter was like, "Yeah, we're not gonna do that right now. It's a difference."
Yeah.
Quiet, loud.
Yeah.
But the way she I'm just saying, but the way she handled it was so
graceful.
It was something that I really enjoyed myself. She was like, well, that's fine. We can figure other options out later, but this is what we have on the table right now. And I was like, yo, I think every man wants something so smooth and peaceful like that.
Yeah. And I think that our relationship, because we dated for 6 years before we got married, we know each other. You know what I'm saying? And she knows that I'm not coming out of a place of it's more of it gotta make sense.
Right.
Flying to Texas and then driving 6 hours more don't make sense.
I think me and you was both on that same. I said, I'm not doing that,
so what they want is I'm just straight. Like that. That's just how I am. I'm coming straight. But I have learned that sometimes, let me sit, hear what you gotta say. I can still be direct, but let me at least let you get your thoughts out. And so that's what the submission in my marriage
but you know what, though?
is teaching me.
I have took that from you. Like even at work, of course I work with very, very big people, but at the same time, don't play with me.
Yeah.
And I won't play with you.
Yeah.
I can be respectful or nice, nasty in the email
Yeah.
and still get my point across.
Yeah.
You know, so it's okay to be quiet, but at the same time, you got to speak up to get your point across.
Yeah. And my journey has created that directness 100%. Because I have served so many people where I couldn't say nothing. Or there was an opportunity and I was just, oh, well, I don't want to be, so I'm just not going to say that. I'm just taking it. And then I would explode. Right. And I don't explode no more. But there's still a way, you know, of growth. You know what I'm saying, for all of us. And so that's why I asked that question of submission, because submission looks different in multiple ways. It's not just necessarily, I'm just going to be over here and be quiet. No. It's just how you move in any relationship, really. And sometimes you have to be submissive.
Absolutely.
You have to be submissive.
That was good, Walt.
And so, thank you, man. So my next question for y'all is, what is the greatest thing about following Jesus? It's a light question. What is the greatest thing about following him?
A light question?
It's a light question.
I think the greatest thing about following Jesus is, first of all, you get that unlimited amount of joy. And you get that understanding, because like life without Jesus is so dark and like you just don't know where you're going, and it's tough. But like when you take that path and you just let Jesus guide you through life, I think that like Desmond said earlier, he surrounds you. Well, he takes out people that don't need to be in your life, and I think also he surrounds you with people that need to be in your life. It's a lot of tough decisions, but when you look at the greater outlook and the greater aspect of everything, you start to see like, I'm really happy. Like all that tough stuff, all those trials and tribulations, you know, it all made a better outcome. And I understand now, and we won't understand when stuff happening, but like that's why we really gotta trust in him, because we only understand what we understand as humans. You know, it's a greater spirit in Jesus that he can foresee the future for us, and if we just take that leap of faith,
that's it,
and just listen to him, listen to your discernment. It's there for a reason. That's what he blessed us with. Life would be so much like joyful.
You know what I was about to say? Joy is coming in the morning.
Joy to the world. Anyway, anyway, ask the question again, because I don't want to interpret it different ways.
So let me read verbatim what it is. So my question is, what is the greatest thing about following Jesus?
Well, I know what it was like to not to follow him, but not put him on the back seat.
That's not following him.
Anyway,
you can't follow him if he's in the back seat.
I would say that it was fun, but I had to learn what fun really was in Most High.
That's good, man.
But I think now that I truly follow the Most High, I may not read the Bible every day, but I make sure I pray every day, or I talk to him every day. It came with peace. I have been blessed with things that I couldn't even talk about, but it comes with peace. It comes with people in your life that will bless you until the end. Friends, family, man, it's really crazy, but it comes with peace. It comes with joy, understanding.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, come on.
Holy Spirit. Oh my goodness. I was just about to say understanding. That's so crazy. Because like when you really follow Jesus and let him do it, your understanding level, like it shoots through the roof.
Yeah.
That's what it's really all about. Because we think that we got our own understanding of things and people, but like when we understand him, it's so great.
Yeah, lean not to my own understanding. That's it.
That really hit my soul. Right
we saw it. Yeah. Okay. No, I love that. Yeah, I was like, okay, God, have your way. Okay, but for me, it's a threefold thing. Number one, I love that I don't have to know. With him, I don't have to know. Meaning, I don't have to worry about tomorrow. I don't have to know. Or we could talk about it. We could talk about it.
Because I like to know.
Yeah.
I want to know where I need to.
So what's crazy is, so am I. But when it comes to the things that I can't foresee, I'm okay with giving it to him.
Yes. Okay. I got you. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Yes. Like I don't have to know how the situation is gonna work out.
Yes.
I'm gonna give it to the one who I know knows. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
Certain situations what I wanted, I didn't know how it was gonna work out. But guess what? I knew who to give it to that can work it out. So that's what I mean is I don't have to know. And I think as men sometimes life puts us in this position, and even how just our makeup, we feel like we gotta know. Like we gotta know. I gotta have a plan. I gotta have all this. You can have all the plans in the world, but if you do not submit your plans, here go that word again, to God, you really ain't going nowhere because you really don't know. Like as much as we think we know, we really don't know anything. You know what I'm saying? The Bible declares, lean not to thy own understanding, but in all thy ways acknowledge him. So meaning, don't rely on what you know, rely on what I know. And because he knows everything, I don't have to know. Like I go to bed every night without any problem because I don't worry about tomorrow. Like I really do not. Yeah, and it takes time.
I'm learning that.
It takes time. And what will happen is, and I'm sorry to burst the bubble of this is wonderful. The way that you truly get to know him in that way is he has to put you in a way where it's strictly faith.
Absolutely.
He's going to put you in a situation where it's literally, if you don't do this, it's not going to happen. And in that moment, you learn he truly has tomorrow. 100%. I'll never forget when I was in college, and then a whole lot of people don't know this right here. I was working for a particular church and was getting paid very well, was traveling and preaching all this good stuff. And then all of a sudden, my salary changed. And I'm not talking about a little change.
Right.
I'm talking about change. Okay.
Oh, lifestyle.
I mean, the change is change. Okay. That's what it's given. And so I'll never forget what had happened. And so they had a church business meeting. So I went to the business meeting and I noticed, and you do.
Yeah.
And I remember in that meeting, I said, so all the money that I lost went into this salary bank over here. I can do math really well. Mm-hmm. And so it doesn't look like my presence is valuable. Now I have an apartment. I have bills. And I remember after the meeting, I got in the car and I just cried. I mean, I cried because I'm looking at, I don't know what my life is about to be in a month from now. I have no idea. And I called my mother. She said, what's wrong? I said, I don't know how I'm going to make it. I do not know. I can't come home because I have stuff here. Like, I'm established here. And she was like, well, just trust God. I said, Ma, of course that's what you're going to say. She said, no, this is your time where you really have to trust God. I said, but I always trust God. No, but you ain't trust God like this. Do you know eviction notice was put on my door? It demolished my credit. When I say demolished, I mean my credit was like it was demolished. And then I find myself literally trying to figure out, where am I going to live? I can't go on campus because I'm not an on-campus student. I don't have housing. I'm at the latter part of my college career anyway. Then my reputation is like, I'm going to these places and I'm preaching, and now here it is. I can't pay my rent. Then I get home and the notice says, you got 24 hours, all your stuff will be out on the street. What? I don't live like that. I've never experienced that before. And so I'll never forget, there was a family at that church that I got close with, and I called him and I said, man, I am stepping out on faith. I literally will not have nowhere to live tomorrow. And I'm calling you because I don't know who else to call. That man said, well, I'll meet you tomorrow. Put your stuff in my truck. You staying with us. And I stayed with them for the remainder of my college experience. And when I tell you, I saw God move. And then a couple of months later, I got a call from a church up here to be the youth pastor there. And literally, I have not stopped since then. But that was one of the darkest faith moments for me, because when your livelihood begins to get tricky, you really are like, God, how I'm going to eat? And I'll never forget, my account got so low. Whew, I'm talking about low. And I went to the bank, and there was a $300 deposit. I don't know where this deposit came from. And I called my mother. I said, hey, Mom, you gave me some money? She said, absolutely not. and I knew it was the Lord. I don't know where that money came from. Have no clue, but it was $300, and I needed that money. And then a couple weeks later, I went and preached at this church, and I got to the church, and the pastor was like, "Hey, listen, we're not gonna pay you a whole lot. All we're gonna pay you is $100." And I said, "Okay, that's fine. You know, whatever y'all want to give." They were very nasty, very nasty. I came, I preached. There was a lot of people there, whatever. And after service that day, they have no idea I am in need of money. I'm standing at the altar, and the pastor was like, "All right, we're gonna go upstairs and go ahead and give you your check or whatever the case may be." And I was like, "No, I want to greet the people." And they was like, "No, no, no, you don't got to greet no people." I said, "No, it's in my heart. I want to greet them after I preach or whatever." So there was a church mother who had the check. She ripped the check up like right at the end of service. And I said, "That's strange. Okay, I don't know what that means, but whatever." So I stood in line. Every person that shook my hand, gave me money.
Mm.
Every person. When I say, and the line was I could see this church just as clear as day. And every person I shook hand, they gave me money. They gave me money. I'm like, "Oh my God, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus." So then I get back upstairs to the pastor's office, and the mother of the church, she said, "So while you were preaching, I went to the deacons, and she said, there's no way we can't bless this man because he tore this church out." They wrote me a check for $3,000. And then everything that I got from the people was $3,000. I left that night with $6,000.
Jesus, right?
Literally in one night. And so that's what I mean by I don't have to worry about tomorrow. I don't have to worry. Now, I could have gotten upset and gone off and did some other crazy stuff, slept with some people, because that was one of my struggles. I was a horny something. And that was my way of releasing stress, right? So I could have did all that, but that was God's moment in time in my life where it's okay, you're gonna do my way or you're gonna do your way, but this is where you trust me if you're gonna do it my way. So he stripped me from everything, and then he rebuilt me. And when I tell you, I have never gone back down. My credit score is wonderful. You know what I'm saying? And so, but it took me, he had to take me through the trenches to truly get to know him as my source and as the one that I trust. And so, yeah, so it will happen when you get to the place of you don't have to worry about tomorrow, where you can 100% say, "I trust him." But that part right there of me not having to worry about tomorrow is everything to me. Like I don't have to know it all. I don't have to know it all. And then I love how he takes care of me by people. He send me amazing people that truly build me up. Like when I see y'all, there is so much joy. Trey laugh at me all the time. I'll be like that. Like, because like y'all don't understand. I prayed for brothers, true brothers. I ain't talking about no fickle little branch on the tree. I'm talking about them brothers where I don't care what's going on, I can call them and they gonna be knocking at my door. Like, so I value the fact that he blessed me with these gifts. You know what I'm saying? And the other thing is 100% peace. I live in peace and joy. That is where I live. Like the only time you gonna call me and I'm a little off is if something just happened or I'm tired. Other than that, yo, what's up? How you doing? Like I live in peace and joy, and that's truly because of Jesus Christ. So yeah. So we're gonna end with this. My last thing that I want y'all to say is, what advice would you give to another brother that wants to follow Jesus but struggle to give God control? What advice would you give to another brother that wants to follow Jesus but struggles to give God control? I know we're a little over time, but
I would say first, come to yourself with that understanding that you're really ready to give that up. Whatever you're dealing with, make sure you're willing to give it up, and then find you somebody that can keep you accountable.
Yes, sir.
To be able to, open the Bible, just pray. Make sure that person is somebody that you value, that you may look up to, and somebody that can better you. Don't get somebody in that you're already comfortable with. Get somebody you maybe not know, or somebody you do know, and they can lift you up or help you, point you into the direction that can get you to the place that you want to be. So yeah.
That's good.
Hey,
Trey, right?
he pretty much hit the hammer on the nail right there. My advice would be is to, whew, man. What would I give advice to myself? Let me act like I'm talking to myself.
Mm.
I would honestly say when you're ready to. Can you answer the question again? I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Ask it one more time.
So what would be an advice or a piece of advice that you would give to a brother who struggles with giving control to God?
Just try it out. I mean, try it out. You feel like it don't work, then go ahead. But I know 100% sure
It's
it
gonna
will
work. Yeah.
literally, just try it out. Talk to God. Pray about it. And like Desmond said, have somebody that's accountable, not somebody that's so much like Bible thumping you and like pressing you to do things, but someone that's really walking with the Lord and letting you go your own path, and like just holding you accountable, but not shaming you at the same time. That's a big thing because a lot of times people try to coerce people into doing things, and that brings the pressure, and they feel like they gotta hide things from people. But like when you give them that comfortability, but still accountability at the same time, and just being there for them and taking the time with them, I feel like you find that right accountability partner really helps a lot. And if you don't find it, God is always going to be there. He's going to point you in direction to the right people.
That's
But like I said, just try it out. That's what I did, and you don't
Look
got
at you
nothing
now.
else to lose.
Yeah.
Look at you now.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You really don't got nothing else to lose because you relying on your own self and your own faith. It's pretty much going to leave you in a deep, dark depression phase. So when you just try it out, you're not going to look back.
Or if not, what's gonna happen? You're gonna fail. You know why I like failure so much? I like when people say I'm going hard because what's gonna happen is you're gonna have to do two things.
Yeah.
Stand up or sit down or stay there. So most people when they fail, they'll find a way to get out of it. But this time, if you do, look to the Most High, and I guarantee when you get out of it, you'll stay out of it.
Yeah.
You know, so
yeah. Amazing. I mean, amazing. My advice would be remain open to him. Being open to him is how you receive. Don't come to him like this.
Yeah.
When you come to him like this, you will never receive nothing. But when you open up yourself, and I know it's hard to be real about yourself. You can tell everybody what their issues is. But when you start talking about yourself, it's really difficult because it requires you to go to a place of vulnerability, like Trey talked about at the very beginning. And once you open up to him, remain open. The Bible says in John 20, I am the vine, ye are the branches. If ye abide in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit.
Oh, that's deep.
What does that mean? I have to abide in him.
Yeah.
The only way, come on, fireworks. Wow. Okay, abide. But in abiding in him, that means I live, breathe, eat, follow. I do everything in him. That means even make mistakes in him. It's okay to make mistakes when you're in him. It's when you're out of him that you make mistakes and you can't get back right because you don't have no source. You don't have that guide. You don't have that conviction. And so remain in him and remain open to him. And then God will surround you with people that will hold you accountable. And Trey said, you don't want no Bible thumper or whatever the case would be. Let me tell you something. When God brings you people that will hold you accountable, their presence is enough. They don't have to say anything from the Bible. Just their presence will put you in a posture of, man, I got to do right. Because the next time I get around them, I know they going to feel what I ain't doing right.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Which is why they walked away from me for a little while. Because they knew that my presence, I will pick it up. I'm going to pick it up because God never leads me astray. And he cares so much about them as much as he cares about me. You know what I'm saying? That's why we have discernment. So he can guide you, but also so he can show you, okay, this person might need a little bit of this, or you might need to pray a little bit more about this person, but remain open to him. Remain open to him. Was you going to say something?
No, that was
good. Okay. I thought you were going to say something. No, but yeah, so I pray that this was a blessing to y'all. But listen, the whole purpose of doing this is to bring you understanding that you can go through life through Jesus. Like he is the best guide. He is the best confidant. He is the best person to carry you. He's the best person to comfort you. There is no life outside of him. I mean, I don't know what else to say. There isn't any life, not real life. There's existing, but you ain't living.
Can I add?
Yeah.
Also, a tough time doesn't mean to lose faith.
Yes, sir.
A tough time means to also just gain your faith the most and really, like I said earlier, be vulnerable and really rely on them, because like Desmond said, you either gonna stand or you're gonna fall in that situation. And every time you lean on God or lean on Jesus, same person, you're gonna stand every time, because you're gonna understand that that tough time is a lesson and it might not be your time. So just understanding those concepts and just trusting in him, those tough times are going to be trials and tribulations that you might be able to help somebody else with later on in life, or just give yourself that understanding that I've been through this before. I can do this through him. So yeah, don't think that just because life going hard that God don't like you and stuff like that. No,
Yeah.
he love you even more when he put you through them hard times.
Yes.
So yeah, like we all just explained, we had tough times and we see the light of the situation and everything that he brought us and brought around us. Just trust in him.
Yeah. And I just had this conversation with Trey, I think last weekend. Tough times are prerequisites of a door getting open. If it's tough, that lets you know that you're closer. And the closer you get, the tougher it's gonna be. Fireworks again. All right. Maybe it's my hand posture. I don't know. But the closer you get, you about to get some fireworks. Don't play with me. The closer you get, the more difficult it is. Talk to any woman who's been in labor. The closer your blessing is to being birthed, the harder the pain is. So just like Trey, you can't give up because it's hard. You can't say, I don't know what's happening, but firework it up. But you can't allow your current circumstance of difficulty make you run away from God. Run to him. And we're going to end it on that. So I pray that you were blessed tonight. I thank my brothers for being here. My brother Trey, my brother Dez. I love them so much. They truly are my accountability partners. They are the ones who hold me down. They are the ones, as you saw while we talking, Desmond will correct me. It don't matter where we are in front of whoever. It don't matter. He going to do that. And I love him for that. What? He's been the same way my whole life. Have I ever did that? He did it tonight. Okay. All right. But I love y'all, man. Thank y'all so much for joining us. And we'll see y'all next time. Be blessed.
Trade the trainer.